Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speak English with Luna, the place where we don't just learn words, we learn how to live in English. I am your host, Luna, and today, oh boy, today we are tackling a monster that lives inside your head. Have you ever been in a meeting, or maybe ordering coffee, or talking to a beautiful stranger, and suddenly, poof, every single English word you ever learned just disappears? Your brain goes completely blank. It feels like a white wall. You know the word is there, but you can't touch it. Well, you are not alone, and you are not bad at English.
That is so true, Luna. It's actually a very human experience. It has more to do with your heart and your nerves than your actual vocabulary list.
Exactly. And that's why I've invited a very special guest today. This is Dr. Leo Vance. He is a cognitive psychologist who helps people perform under pressure. Leo, thank you for being here with our community.
It's a joy to be here, Luna. I've spent years watching how the brain reacts when we feel tested. It's a fascinating, if frustrating, dance.
I can't wait to get into the why behind this. But first, a quick message to you, my dear listener. Today's episode is a special journey. We are practicing aspirational English. What does that mean? It means we start simple. Right now, we are speaking at a comfortable B1 level. It's easy, right? You can follow us. But as we go deeper into the science of the brain, the English is going to get harder. We'll move into B2 territory, and by the end, Leo and I will be using C1 level expressions, the kind of English native speakers use when they are really diving deep into a topic. Here is my challenge for you. Stay until the very end, even if it gets tough. Don't turn it off. Let the sounds wash over you. If you can finish this 15-minute journey, you are training your brain to handle the pressure we are talking about. Are you ready? Leo, are you ready to help us unlock these blank brains?
I am more than ready. Let's help everyone find their voice again.
Let's do it. If you've ever felt like your brain was a closed door during a conversation, this episode is for you. Gentle Leo, before we dive into the deep science of the brain, I want to stop and talk about the feeling of going blank. It's not just about forgetting a word, it's about that heat in your chest, the way your heart starts to beat faster, and that terrible thought that says, I'm failing. Many of our listeners feel a lot of shame when this happens. They think, I've studied for years, I've paid for classes, so why can't I even remember the word for appointment right now?
That is a very heavy burden to carry, Luna. And the first thing I want to tell every single person listening to my voice right now is this. Your brain is not broken. In fact, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do thousands of years ago. You see, when you feel pressure or social anxiety, your amygdala, the little alarm system in your brain, takes over. It sends out a signal that says, stop thinking, start surviving. It literally shuts down the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for logic, complex planning, and, most importantly, foreign language production. You aren't forgetting English. Your brain is just busy trying to save your life.
That is so incredibly liberating to hear. Listeners, did you hear that? You are safe here. This podcast is a no predator zone. Take a deep breath with us. We are going to explore this together, and if you don't understand every single word in the next section, that's okay. Just stay with us. Okay, Leo, we've established that our brains are trying to protect us, which is a lovely way to look at it. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. I want to share a story from one of our community members, Maria. She's a brilliant architect. She knows her technical terms perfectly when she's reading a blueprint alone. But last week, she had to present to a group of American investors. She stood up, opened her mouth, and nothing. She said it felt like her English was locked behind a glass wall. She could see the words, but she couldn't grab them. Why does that happen so specifically with a second language?
That's a poignant example, Luna. What Maria experienced is something we call cognitive paralysis under high-stakes performance. You see, speaking a second language isn't just one task, it's a massive cognitive load.
Your brain is simultaneously managing phonology, how things sound, syntax, how words fit together, and semantics, the meaning. When we are relaxed, these processes are fluid, but the moment the threat of the investors enters the room, the brain undergoes what is known as an amygdala hijack.
An amygdala hijack? That sounds like a movie title. What exactly is going on in the brain's control room during a hijack?
Imagine your brain is a sophisticated airport. Usually the air traffic controllers, the prefrontal cortex, are managing the takeoffs and landings of your words with precision. But when you feel judged, the emergency alarm goes off. This alarm triggers a flood of cortisol and adrenaline. Suddenly, the air traffic controllers are forced to leave their posts to go put out a fire. Without the controllers, the planes, your English words, are stuck on the runway. They can't take off. This is why Maria felt she could see the words but not grab them. The infrastructure of her communication was temporarily dismantled by her own survival instinct.
That is such a vivid image. The planes are stuck on the runway. So, if our listeners are feeling this, it's not because their English is weak, it's because their airport is in emergency mode. But Leo, I've noticed that some people seem to speak better under pressure, while others just crumble. Why the difference? Is it just personality?
Personality plays a role, but it's often about the affective filter. This is a concept developed by linguist Stephen Krashen. Think of it as an invisible psychological shield. If your filter is high, meaning you are stressed, self-conscious, or lack confidence, the language input and output are blocked. If the filter is low, the language flows through. People who perform well under pressure have usually learned techniques to lower their filter intentionally. They treat the conversation not as a test of their worth, but as a collaborative game.
I love that, a collaborative game. I think for many of us, we view English as a performance where we are being graded, like we are back in school and the teacher is waiting with a red pen to mark every mistake. That fear of the red pen makes our filter go sky high.
Precisely. We become hypervigilant. We start monitoring ourselves too much. In linguistics, we call this the monitor hypothesis. If you are constantly checking your grammar while you are speaking, you create a bottleneck. You're trying to drive the car and fix the engine at the same time. It's impossible to maintain a spontaneous, natural cadence when you are preoccupied with the subjunctive mood or whether you should have used in instead of at.
I've been there. I remember trying to speak French in Paris, and I was so worried about my accent that I forgot what I wanted to buy at the bakery. I ended up just pointing at a croissant and nodding like a robot. It's funny now, but at the time, I felt so small.
And that feeling small is the core of the problem. When we feel small, we stop being active creators of language and we become passive victims of our anxiety. To overcome this, we have to embrace reframing. Instead of thinking, I must speak perfect English, we should think, I am here to connect with another human being. Connection is the goal. Perfection is just an ornament.
That's a powerful shift. So for Maria, the architect, instead of thinking about the investors as judges, she should think of them as people who want to hear her brilliant ideas. They are there because they want to work with her.
Exactly. And there's a neurological trick here too. When you feel that blank brain coming on, the best thing you can do is to narrate the struggle.
Narrate the struggle? What does that mean?
It means being honest. If you forget a word, don't freeze and stare. Say, I'm having a bit of a brain freeze moment. Give me a second. Or, the word I'm looking for is escaping me, but the idea is, by speaking about the problem, you re-engage the prefrontal cortex. You move from panic mode back into problem-solving mode. You essentially tell your amygdala, it's okay, I've got this, I'm still in control of the airport.
Oh, I love that. It's like breaking the spell. The moment you name the fear, it loses its power over you. Listeners, this is such a pro tip. If you get stuck, don't hide it, own it. Talk about the stuckness. It's such a high-level C1 way to handle a conversation. It shows so much confidence to say, my brain is blanking, let me rephrase that.
It really does. It's the ultimate sign of fluency. Not because you don't make mistakes, but because you aren't afraid of them. You are navigating the language like a captain navigates a stormy sea. The waves are there, but you stay on the boat.
This is so deep, Leo. I feel like my own filter is lowering just listening to you. We're learning that the blank brain is just a biological safety brake and that we can use our words to turn the lights back on. All right, everyone, we've covered a lot of deep psychological ground. Now I want to make sure you can actually use the tools we discussed. It's time for our word tour. Leo, let's break down 5 key terms we used today so our listeners can add them to their survival kit.
A wonderful idea, Luna. Let's start with a classic, to go blank.
Yes, we use this when our memory suddenly fails. Example, I practiced my presentation for a week, but the second I saw the CEO, my mind went totally blank.
Third is high stakes. This describes a situation where the outcome is very important or has big consequences. A wedding toast is high stakes. Talking to your dog in the morning is low stakes.
I love that. Third is cognitive load. This is more technical. It refers to the amount of mental effort your brain is using. When you're tired and trying to speak English, your cognitive load is too high, and that's when the blanking happens.
Fourth is to reframe. This means to change the way you look at a problem. Instead of saying, I'm failing this conversation, you reframe it as, I'm practicing my resilience.
And finally, the nitty-gritty. This is a very common idiom. It means the most basic, practical details of a subject. We got into the nitty-gritty of brain science today.
Those are 5 heavy hitters for your vocabulary, listeners. Use them well.
Now it's time for my favorite part of the show, hearing from you. I have a challenge for our global community. I want you to go to our comment section or our Instagram and share a story. Think about the last time your brain went blank. Where were you? How did it feel? But most importantly, I want you to answer this. What is one emergency sentence you are going to use next time you freeze? Will it be, give me a second, my brain is catching up? Or maybe, I'm having a brain freeze, let me start over.
Sharing your survival sentence helps everyone else feel less alone. It turns a moment of shame into a moment of connection.
Exactly. Don't be shy. Your imperfect English is exactly what we want to hear. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. But before we go, I have a very important question for you, my friend. Did you make it? Did you stay with us from the very first word until right now? If you did, I want you to take a moment to be proud of yourself. We went from simple B1 conversation all the way into deep C1 psychological concepts. You didn't give up when it got nitty-gritty, and that is the first step to overcoming the blank brain syndrome.
It really is. Consistency and courage are the 2 most important tools in your language kit. It was an absolute pleasure sharing this space with you all today. Remember, your brain is on your side.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vance, for your wisdom. Listeners, if this episode helped you feel a little more safe in your English journey, please subscribe to Speak English with Luna. Leave us a review and tell us, in English, what topic you want us to tackle next. Until next time, keep speaking, keep connecting, and remember, you've got this. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.